Hello. I don't know if am I missing something? So this is the official reopening of the Surf and Turf Skateboard Park in the city of Greenfield. So people that know me know that I'm prone to chatter, and I actually wrote down a speech. I don't know why this is cutting out on me. I actually wrote a speech so that I could limit. Can you hear me if I talk like this? Do I have to get closer to that one, this one, or that one? That one? That one? Can you hear me? All right, all right. Cool. All right. So I actually wrote a speech. And I don't usually write speeches. I usually just kind of wing it, and everybody goes, "Yay!" You know, the mayor did that. We're here today to celebrate an archaeological discovery that happened 12, 13, 14 years ago. It's been a long time already. Many of the people that are sitting on the stage, when the turf was found and they came out, you saw them on the news, right? With shovels and buckets, and they started skating the turf. And there was a call to save the turf. Remember that? Save the turf, save the turf. And we tried to save the turf, and then things happened. DOT restrictions happened, had to buy the land, had to get this, had to do that. COVID happened, all sorts of things happened. It took forever to get this going, right? Some of the folks, there's one guy, Sean Gillis, who passed away, who would have been on the Turf Council. He passed away about a year ago. His brother Tom was in town. Recently he was a professional snowboarder, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of people over that course of a period of time that couldn't be here today, and a moment of kind of silence and celebration for them, if we could, all right? So 20 years ago, when these folks were digging out these bowls, I've been mayor for 20 years now, which is amazing, and that happened about 10, 12 years ago. And at that point in time, a lot of stuff happens when you're a mayor, right? And you can imagine, right? Nothing that I have done before or since has matched the amount of emails, telephone calls, you name it, when that event occurred. And I was always a water skier my whole life. I'd prefer to hit water than concrete. I was a barefooter, actually pretty good. Can't do anything anymore. But a whole bunch of people stayed with it and reminded me how important this was. This was the Lambeau Field of skateboard parks. This was the Mecca, right? And as I stood, and I got here at 6 in the morning because I want to make sure everything's perfect because I'm anal sometimes. Not always, right, Jennifer? That's my girlfriend. I'm really messy, and she's always on me. So, but this morning, and if you watch that driveway down there, you see just people coming, and it's like they're walking through the desert that they've traveled, and some of you folks have traveled from a very long way to be here today, right? But there's a pilgrimage back to the turf, and it's just so heartwarming for me. So I want to thank all of you for coming here. I want to thank all of you for making this the kind of special place that it truly is. It's not just a bunch of concrete, it's all of you people, right? All right. So building the turf, you think it's like, oh, you know, it's just a bunch of skateboard, you know, it's just a bunch of concrete, you know, what's it going to take, what's it going to take? I can tell you that it takes a lot, and I can't do everybody thinks the mayor, you know, he can do anything, you know, he's the mayor. It's a really cool title, don't get me wrong, but I can't do anything by myself without really good people behind me. But it was clear from that day forward and every year subsequent that saving the turf was a priority. Sorry, I have to turn the pages because I'm trying to stick to a script. So there were some people early on. So everybody's kind of bitching about city employees and federal employees and state employees, and they don't do anything. I can assure you, in our community, the people that we have and that have retired from here, there's a couple of them that are really important. The first one is John Laskowski. He's our retired superintendent of public works. So many of you have seen those pictures of, hey, they dug it up and there's piles of gravel. So just so you know, John was tasked with finding all of those bowls that were under dirt and grass. It's like, well, we think they're there. John has been one of the most supportive people in this entire project. He's a friend. He's retired. I wish I was retired sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. John is a special human being. So if we could, after all these people, you got to go, yeah, yeah. We got Mary Phillips. Where's Mary? There's Mary. So Mary works in our Park and Rec department. She's also a graphic designer. She's a mom. She's all of those things. She's the one that put our marketing material. We don't have like marketing budgets, right? We have Mary, and Mary is the best money we've ever spent on marketing and everything that we've ever had. So give Mary a round of applause. I got Kent over here with the turf hat on. Kent was a skater. Yeah. He's our parks guy, right? He's our park supervisor. Kent, all the drone. People really like him. You can tell. Kent, all the drone shots that you saw, right? And there's like years worth when there was nothing here and he's got the drone up I think today for more shots. Kent has been instrumental in making sure that this thing happens and sharing the images with the world. So give it up for Kent. And I got Mike Dermody here. Mike, there you are. Mike, so Mike is one of those people that if I didn't go and find him and say, you know, you got to be here, I'm ordering you to be here, I'm your boss. Mike wouldn't care. I mean, he and his crew and everybody that's with the DPW, if you were here 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, this place looked like a war zone. There wasn't grass, there weren't trees, there was a big pile of dirt. Some of you that may have been around may have seen that. Mike is the same, and I always say this, and I say it in a complimentary way. Mike is the guy that plows our streets in the winter. And his crew are the guys that make sure that, you know, the paint on the roads and the ditches and all that stuff drain and all that stuff. But they're also the most talented human beings on earth that I know. And Mike personally led this effort with his guys to make this a reality and to make it presentable for today. So, to Mike Dermody. And then, for me, the most important person, and everybody's important, but this little fella here, Jeff Katz. Jeff Katz is a professional engineer. Drives me nuts sometimes, but he's a professional engineer. He's our director of neighborhood services. 2 years ago, that shirt would have been tucked in. Jeff, there we go again. Jeff and I have had, we've had some discussions, right? And Jeff has been dedicated to this park from day one. About 2 years ago, Jeff and I sat down and it was like, if we don't do it now, we're never going to be able to do it. We're going to lose the momentum, and we've lost momentum every year since it was on Earth. But Jeff, I owe everyone owes the success of this to you. So please give Jeff a huge round of applause. So I thought I could walk around, and I don't know if I can walk down in here, but so mayors have no authority to do anything at all. I don't know if you know that. There's a common council, there's older persons, right? And villages have trustees, and towns have town boards, and all that stuff, right? We have 5 alderpersons over there that are probably in every single point of the political spectrum, depending on what day, right? But without them, I could not have done anything at all. Every time I needed the support, every time I needed, I'd come over there and shake your hands and hug you and all that stuff, because I can hug elected officials and not get in trouble. It's just a footnote. Those 4 people, Pam Akers, if you could, Bruce Bailey, Andrew Jusicki, Carl Passer, and Shirley Saren, believed in our vision, and for that, you guys, I told you it would work. So thank you. So that's kind of the government side, okay? So there are a lot of places that build skateboard parks. I've learned so much about skateboard parks, way more than I ever knew, right? You spend a day, every day here for about a year and a half, watching what's going on, talking to the guys that are all skaters, right? I needed another kind of counsel to help guide me. And I created something, it was like a text messaging group called the Turf Council. And these folks, they skated here, some of them worked here. Sam was a professional skater. They all have unique skills and insight. Sometimes it's like herding cats, no offense. And I'm talking to you, Sam. Sometimes it's like herding cats, but when we did this park, there were things that we probably could have skimped on. There are things that we could have probably done differently. We didn't have to put tile in. We didn't have to do the coping. We could have put coping on other bowls. The goal was to return the turf to exactly as close as we possibly could, And all along every step of the way, I want to recognize my turf council. I'm going to name them by name, but I want to. And I'm not going to say what every one of them did. But these people were so instrumental in making this happen. They were the council, the committee, the whatever, the watchdogs, the quality control, the no, this is the history, whatever it was. These folks, and I'd like to, if you can just raise your hand when I rattle off your name. Bob Petoskey, who did a heck of a job filling in for me on Fox 6. I thank you so much because I hate being on TV. Carl, also known as Cheater Carl, Urbania. Donnie Dubinsky over there. Jerome Urbaniak. And I have to give credit where credit is due. All the tile that you see on here is really cut in concrete. Jerome did that by hand with a stencil. He also put the logo on the capsule with somebody skating right over his head. Joel Sharshevsky. Joel Schneider, John Newman, Len Benning, Marty Elrid, Mike Pashon, our official historian, Peter D'Antoni, Rusty Joe Medro, and Sam Hintz. There's also 2 other folks that worked on the council that if they were...
Look at this guy right here. Let's go. Give it up for this mayor right here, Mayor Mike. He's one of our guys. we're at the Fin and Feather hanging out. He's one of us. He's got the passion. What I like to say is, his quote is, he wants to make this town better, Greenfield better. Yeah. And by doing that, and by supporting this park, he made the whole county better. He's gathered all these people to our sacred grounds, the Turf Skate Park, and thank you very much, Mayor Mike.
That wasn't necessary. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. There are two other people that worked on the council, that didn't work for the city, that weren't elected to office, that were really special, that didn't have their own boards, that I had to draw on with a paint Sharpie last night in my kitchen, and I probably didn't do a good job, and I promise I'll get them a better one. The first one is Greenfield's very own Danny Sokol. So Danny started with Grindline, and Kyle and folks from Grindline are here. Danny started as kind of an apprentice with Grindline, but near as I can tell, Danny was here absolutely every single day, or pretty close to every day, that the park was being constructed. Danny, everybody that built the park is like special, but Danny he's no longer an apprentice, man. And I mean, he's like a master park builder. This guy works harder than anybody, and he can skate as good as anybody here. So. All right, so I didn't know what to call the next one. So it's Skelly, and I don't even know his last name. His name is Sean. Sean, do I even know your last name? I don't even. Kelly? Sean Kelly? Kelly? Oh, shit. So, it's always easier than you think, right? So Sean works for Grindline. Sean came in last summer. Sean was instrumental, I mean, in his heart and soul. I mean, we had LiDAR and sonars at these balls. I don't know if you know that, where there's these engineering things, you know, and they're reduced to pixels. Sean was out there with his tape measure and his compass and protractor and all those things that, I don't know what he had. But he had a little notebook, and in his notebook, he took meticulous measurements of absolutely everything. Everything. I mean, he spent days making sure that the park was right. Skelly came here and he became sort of the superintendent, supervisor of the site. He doesn't talk. He'd be hiding somewhere and send Danny to go find him. He came over to my house, I think, for Thanksgiving, didn't you? Yeah, that was kind of nice. He didn't say a word. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding him. But, Skelly's leadership on this project made this project a reality. He was the first one here, the last one to lead. He made sure everything was perfect. I hope I can call you a friend now that I know your last name. Skelly. So I got a skateboard for him. It says curator on it because it was really late last night. I couldn't think of what's a cool word that sums up somebody that just pays that kind of attention to detail. And that's Skelly, man. And I just really, really want to thank you for everything that you've contributed to this park. So thank you. All three of you? Is Scott here? Scott's here. So, as we're moving along here, so this park just isn't about concrete. I want this to be the cultural epicenter of the Midwest and maybe the country, pushing it a little bit on the country. This place was built on music. It was built on an attitude. It was built on working to perfect something, often on your own, because nobody else could do it for you, right? I want to make sure that this park remains activated, I've created, or started to create something called my Culture Commission. Okay? So I want to introduce 4 people that know music, they know the entertainment industry, they know bands, they have that kind of stuff in their soul. I'd like to introduce Mark Solheim, sorry. Mark lives in Greenfield. Mark is also, I don't know if he's a buyer, I don't know what he does. He knows everybody. I was talking about Gang of Four and Peter Murphy, and it's like, yeah, I know Peter. He does Riot Fest. He works for the Pabst Theater in Riverside. He does all that kind of stuff. Got Scott Moriarty and Bert Zwever, sorry. Bert was a skater here too. These guys work at Music Around. They are so tied in to the local musicians that are trying to find their way to try to, be the next, I don't know, Dead Kennedys. Right? But these guys have agreed and are going to work with me to create a nonprofit for the park to make the place more sustainable, to bring culture and to bring music and to bring those kinds of things to this place, because without that, it is truly just concrete. It needs a heart, it needs a soul, and I hope these guys can bring it to me. And finally, Tripper Duval. Tripper's a pretty trippy dude. We have the Holy Mackerel, which is a miniature golf course down on Layton Avenue that someone had to turn into 4-story apartments. Tripper said, "Hey, I'll do it. I'll buy it, and I'll make it a miniature golf course and make it one of the cultural things that's around here, right?" He also has businesses in Bayside, but he's just, you got to have somebody in your community named Tripper, right? So I want to thank the 4 of you tremendously for agreeing, and there's a lot more to do here. We're not done now. Thank you guys. Okay. Do I have anybody left? All right. I got all right. So before we get to the ribbon cutting, and I've talked a lot, there's some very, very, very special people here. People that were here in the very beginning. One of them you might have seen in the Milwaukee Journal recently. If anybody still reads the paper, I do. But, Art Kent is here. Go, Art! Art had a plan, right, to build skateboard parks. And Art, I can't let Art talk because Art will talk more than I will. But he's here all day. If you see Art, he can answer any question there is about the skateboard park. Is that a fair statement? Amen. All right. Then I got John Colruyt. John, are you around? John was instrumental in the early days, right? Right, John? So thank you for everything. Then there's somebody else that I really want to personally thank. Kyle. Is Kyle here from Grindline? There he is. Sorry. I'm so focused on the microphone that I didn't even see you there. So Kyle wants to say a few words. I just want to say, too, that making all of this happen would not have happened without a skateboard building company like Grindline. And it wouldn't have happened without I'm going to turn it over to you. I want you to say a few words because I know you need to say a few words. He was a politician once. Did you know that? He's successful. A lot more successful than I am, but that's... Here, you want to say something?
You guys are pretty quiet. One more time. Let's hear ya. First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in today and turning out. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today, making the trip. I know there's people from all over Wisconsin, all over the Midwest. Let's show some Midwest pride today. Have some fun. Thank your neighbor, thank your friends, thank your loved ones for being here. Also, very, very important, thank the craftsmen. And I got one special nod Monk man, this is for you. Have fun today. Be safe. Oh, we got some OG Portland in the house. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, there we go. Who knows that face? That's Monk Man right there. Let's go. If you haven't paid homage yet, Monk is right at the entrance. Make sure to pay homage to Monk. We'd really, really appreciate that. And one last thing, grind line for life.
All right. I have like 40, 50 more pages to read, but I'm not going to. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do ribbon cutting, and I'm going to ask you to say something corny. Okay? I've run this by others. So the goal of all this was to save the turf, right? So we're going to go 5, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to shout, "We saved the turf." Can we do that? Yes? Oh, I forgot. We have one more special guest here. Donnie from Sacred Order. I don't know if anybody remembers Sacred Order, the band. Donnie's gotten smaller. Donnie was the very first skateboarder to skate the turf when it opened. All right. Can somebody do the countdown? Mark, you got it.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We saved the turf!